Hello again, Internet. I'm doing another random whatever I want video. This is not me actually playing this game. I just want to share something from this game. This is Rest in Pieces, a, I don't know, few dollars sort of horror game? Not really. That I bought on the Switch. I have no idea if it's on anything else. The premise of this game, which is kind of shown a little bit by that porcelain figurine. Oh no, and it turned into a scary clown. Yeah. The premise of the game, if the screen loads, thank you, is we control these. Well, I'll show it off really quick. The actual game isn't really what we're here for, but oh, it's a creepy clown man. So yeah, the characters are these little porcelain figurines, or at least represented by these little porcelain figurines, and you're intended to try to avoid smashing the porcelain figurine on anything, which sounds like a pretty good idea. You don't want your porcelain to be smashed. That's not good. The idea is that these characters are all having nightmares, and each set of 3 characters that we'll go through in a bit share a nightmare, and as such, each 3 characters in group is kind of like, they're themed together. So whoops, and yeah, that's what happens when you smash your your porcelain figurine. Yeah. But so, the first group of 3 is all characters having to do with the circus, hence the killer clown nightmare. The next 3 are having to do with the ocean, and so the kraken is the nightmare, etc. The Yeti, people on a mountain. But the reason why I'm showing you this game is, if you look in the lower right, and the UI here feels, suspiciously mobile gamey. So it was probably a mobile game, which, simple sweeping back and forth is the entire gameplay. So that actually fits a mobile game in terms of, working within the confines of the medium, as it were. But yeah, you might notice the shirt symbol with the X button prompt on it. If I press that, it will change, not the actual outfit, the model of the porcelain figurines doesn't change, but the colors do. And all of the characters have 3 colors, their starting color and 2 more. And virtually all of the alternate colors, and even some of the starting colors, are pop culture references. So far as I can tell. I don't know. I just got kind of a bug up my butt and was like, you know what? I'm going to record this and I'm going to show off. I have all of the outfits for all the characters. I have not fully completed the game. That is to say, I haven't actually opened all 3 eyes with each character yet, which would then complete the game. But yeah, whatever. It's actually, despite the sort of horror-ish theming and the nightmare theming, it's a super chill game. If you're somebody who can find that sort of horror theming to be very chill, this is exactly the game for you. Just lazily swinging the figures back and forth. But yeah, so Georgina here, little girl at the circus, and what's her second color? Goth. The crown symbol on the back makes me want to say that it's some weird Kingdom Hearts reference, but that might just be me. And maybe it's supposed to be a jester's cap. So it's oh, she's one with the clown or something like that. And then Little Red Riding Hood, pretty straightforward. And then we have Leotard. They all have kind of hilariously generic names like that. And his second outfit, his normal outfit here is just, trapeze artist or what have you with the circus. Boom. Not really a pop culture reference so much as just a, kind of a pop culture outfit with, the star-spangled look. But then what's his next one? Fucking Link or The Legend of Zelda. The old look. Even has the L on the chest just to make sure you get it. But what a silly, I like how it adds a domino mask over his eyes as well. It was very silly. And then we have Tiny, the elephant, because elephants are generally not small. Even when they're babies, they're not really that small. But first alternate color, goth. This is probably not really like a reference to anything in particular, but just kind of fun to make a solid black goth elephant. But what's the third one? Maybe someone in the audience has even guessed it already. Pink elephants on parade. Pink elephants on parade. Yeah, it's a reference to the Dumbo movie and the famously acid trippy scene that is the Pink Elephants on Parade song. The second nightmare is the Kraken that rises from the depths. Captain Bjorn here just looks like a regular captain. His first alternate color, rubber duckies. Which is, I like to imagine that this is supposed to be, a reference to like playing in the bathtub with your rubber ducky and then like a toy boat or whatever and pretending that you're a sea monster or whatever when you're a little kid. Or at least I don't know that I ever did that as a little kid, but that's a popular like thing to depict little kids doing in the bath. And then Mario, for some reason, just, okay, sure, Mario. Jack Parrot, because subtlety is for losers. Also, that porcelain figurine of him spiral hurling all around himself is pretty amazing. This one doesn't actually, maybe I'm not getting it. Trans pride colors? I don't know. Maybe they couldn't come up with anything here, but the third one's just fucking zombie, which is, Pirates of the Caribbean, zombie pirates. There you go. Whatever. Oh, it's on the nose, given that they already call them Jack Parrot, but it is what it is. And the surfer lady, Alana, like she has R.I.P. on the suit, and her board has a big bite taken out of it, which seems like it should have been a shark, like a megalodon or something, rather than a kraken. But first alternate color is very was that like Jane of the Jungle or whatever, Queen of the Jungle look. And then Mystique, from the X-Men, specifically the movie version where they kind of made her blue skin look kind of scaly. It's even got the red hair. So it's like, I think what they were kind of going for was like, oh, no, it's totally like a mer person, right? Cause the ocean connection, but it's like, that's obviously Mystique. Third batch is the nightmare of the Yeti. This one is very funny to me. Brandy here, the dog, the rescue dog. My uncle actually, in his, I say his youth, I don't mean like his teens or something, but, when he was younger, he actually worked as search and rescue and trained search and rescue dogs. So it's fun. This one is very funny to me because of a porcelain figurine we'll see later. But first alternate color is fucking Pikachu. And that is gonna be very extra weird later. just trust me. And the other one, fucking Garfield. Although it says catnip on the thing, but like, come on, it's an orange tabby. It's Garfield. They should have put lasagna on that, but whatever. Bunny, just because it's a girl in a bunny sweatshirt, a hoodie thing, snowboarding. Well, I'll say snowboarding, tobogganing, I guess. And what's her first alternate color? Just pink bunny, which is not really a reference. I guess maybe you could say kind of an Eastery color scheme here, but with like the purple and yellow shoes, the orange and blue mittens. I like how they dichromated the gloves and shoes there. That's fun. And what's the third color, you might think? Oh, it's the fucking Joker, obviously. What else would you have given the little girl? Yeah, I don't fucking get it. Some of these feel weirdly forced. And our third mountain nightmare person, Ingmar, on his skis. Don't know if this first color scheme is supposed to mean anything other than just kind of being a slightly garish skiing outfit. First alternate color is, it's actually got, you see this, I was going to say goth again, but it's got like the flames on the back of the skis. So it's almost like a biker member when skiing, I guess. It's fun. And then fucking bananas. Or what's that brand of banana? I always forget that brand of bananas with the sticker on. You can see the sticker on the ski down there. But yeah, it's just, I kind of like to think that this is an alternate universe Mario family member as well. The way because he's wearing, it's like they did overalls and all that. All right, what's the fourth one? The fourth one is, yes. And this is one where I should know that every time I swap between them, they always go back to the default color. So the default mouse color scheme here, instead of just being like a brown mouse, is Mickey Mouse reference. So kind of just smashing straight into a reference already, but it's the Nightmare of Medusa. And this is where the dog having the Pikachu color scheme becomes even more confusing because there's actually already a mouse in the lineup. First alternate color. It's just a white. You'd think this would have been the base color, right? And then this one could be like the secondary, just brown mouse. It's recognized, simple and recognizable. Maybe you could argue this is like a Pinky, Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Maybe this is Pinky and that's Brain. But yeah, it feels like it should have started here on the white one and then ended on the Mickey Mouse. I don't know. Pegasus. You can probably guess what one of the color schemes for this is going to be before I ever get to it. But typical white winged horse here. And what's our first alternate color scheme? That's right. The most obvious color scheme, pop culture reference color scheme they could have possibly given a Pegasus. It's Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. Although her hooves were not rainbow tinted like that, but whatever. And then just a zebra, just a flying zebra. Enjoyed. I like that they did that. You never see zebras done as Pegasi, really. So I actually kind of appreciate that. And then Perseus, one of the only characters in this whole thing that I think has like a name, because obviously they're referencing the myth with the Medusa is from the mythology. And this is another one where you could probably easily guess what one of the pop culture references is going to be. That's right. Captain America. Pretty easy one to do with the shield and the wings on the boots and all that. And what's the next one? Well, he's petrified. That was actually not really a pop culture reference in that way, but like it's cute that they gave just like, yep, she got him. This is the end of his nightmare where he does not wake up and that's it. He's stone. And our next nightmare is the nightmare of Count Dracula. Dracula. Let me start with the Countess, which is kind of funny because it's more like, I don't know, feels less like the Countess and more like, one of the various women that was captured by Dracula or is often captured by Dracula and Dracula stand-in vampires in literature and pop culture generally. I'm guessing this first alternate color is supposed to be Aurora, the Disney princess. She had the blue and the pink versions of her dress, if I recall correctly, but it's pink and blonde hair is relatively generic, but given all the pop culture references, I feel like that's not off base. And then we just get, she is a vampire too now. Here's where calling her the Countess actually makes more sense. Father Lugosi. I love that. Oh, the Bela Lugosi reference just right there, front and center. Just a classic. Yeah. Devil be gone, get ye behind me, Satan kind of looking dude, yelling at the vampire to get the fuck out. Boom! Hippie! Maybe this is actually a reference to something I don't get. I feel like it probably is. I feel like there's some buried memory, where this makes sense, but hippie, Father Lugosi. And then we have fucking Illuminati Lizard Man. Father Legos. It feels like we suddenly jumped to another movie genre with this reference, but, all the references don't have to actually make sense to the nightmare, so. And our third one is just a reference in and of herself. Red Slayer obviously is oh crap, what's her name? Blood Rain. There we go. There's a Blood Rain reference in and of itself. I like the 3 small stabby crosses on her back. That's fun. Lara Croft color scheme. Just pretty obviously just Lara Croft. And then this one, I like to believe that this is supposed to be a Buffy the Vampire Slayer specific reference. Specifically, the original movie version, which was, if you only know Buffy the Vampire Slayer from the TV show, it was actually based, or at least iterated from, a movie wherein the whole point of the movie was that the ditzy blonde cheerleader, who's usually like the first or second to die in the monster movie or the horror movie or whatever, is the heroine who wins the day and kills the monster and is the badass, while still being a ditzy cheerleader. It's a fun concept, and it was a funny movie, and I like to think that this is a reference to that specifically. Our second to last nightmare is Attack of the Insectum. Now, this one's a little weird to me. Also, the name, calling the ship Han-Luke Picard is very silly. This nightmare specifically to me is very weird, but we'll get to the why when we hit the last nightmare. But yeah, obviously it's a silly mashup of like what the Millennium Falcon and the name is referencing the USS Enterprise. And our first alternate color at least is Tron. It's just a Tron color scheme. There's really nothing to say there. The dark blue with then the highlighted lines. And then weirdly I like to think that this is a, Star Trek Voyager specific reference, because I believe by the end of that show, after all the modifications they made to the ship, like large sections of the ship on the outside were like a really dark gray versus the normal like Federation light gray that ships are normally colored. But it could be a reference to something else that I don't quite get, and I'm just kind of projecting. But Han-Luke Picard. Spice Whale! I love that this is one of the 3 things having nightmares about alien insects is the space whale. It's just a space whale. It's kind of cosmic-y colored. The first alternate color is a clownfish, which is, I would have said, pretty obviously a Finding Nemo reference. Not a lot to say there. And the third color? Green. Yeah, not sure what's up with that. This is another one of those ones where maybe it's not a reference, maybe they ran out of ideas, or I just don't know what the reference is. Maybe if somebody who knows better sees this video could let me know if that's specific to some sci-fi movie I've never seen. And the last of our alien nightmare characters is Antler, which is a very weird choice. It's a robot, I guess. I'm really not entirely sure what they were going for with this. It's a really weird mashup of kind of Ultraman-y, kind of Gundam, kind of nothing in particular. I don't know. And the antlers that it's named for, I have no idea. Again, maybe this whole character is just, I don't get it, and it's something I'm just not recognizing, but there you go. First alternate color scheme, it just feels like another Tron reference. This whole one, I gotta say, I don't think the third color scheme was anything that I could specifically pick up on either. So what is it? It's that. The red stripe on the front of the face on this one makes me think that this is something more specific. Initially, when I saw it, I was just like, they made it like colored to be kind of nature colors, so it looks like an actual deer or something, but the big red stripe on the face makes me think otherwise. Yeah, this is the one character in the whole game that I'm really not sure about. And the final nightmare is caught in Aerolob's web. Giant spider. Aerolob's web. That's, I don't remember the Shelob? Something like that. It's a Lord of the Rings reference. And so is the character we're looking at, Ronald Baggins. Although obviously holding that little stick, it's referencing another magic character, which has not aged well. But very quickly before we do the colors for this guy, the reason why the Attack of the Insectum, like alien nightmare, is confusing to me is because they have a spider one. You'd think this would just be like generic, alien knockoffs. Giger, H.R. Giger, style alien ripoffs, or maybe gray aliens, right? But they specifically went with this like insectoid theme for the aliens, which feels redundant, because then you've got the giant spider, which kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, spiders, arachnids and insects technically are kind of, are divided away from each other, but pretty obviously you can have a spider kind of be your whole insect fear stand-in. It works. So that felt weird, that they didn't just do like generic gray aliens or something. I don't know. Anyway, what's Ronald Baggins' next color scheme? Yeah, pretty noticeably, getting more into the Harry Potter thing, which, bleh. And then going to just like really silly McDonald's ass wizard with the star cape and the white hair. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a specific, cause I've certainly seen, art of generic wizards that is kind of like that, like the more cartoony styles, but I don't know if there's something specific it might be, referencing or not. Who knows? Calling the fly Tset, or Tset. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. I've never heard a person say it. I've only ever read it in text. It is really funny to me how hard this figurine is to actually to do the game with. You might notice I have 0 out of 3 eyes on it. Meanwhile, I have at least 1, if not all of the eyes for everything else. Yeah, flies are historically quite small. So it's very funny to me that this figurine is so big. And it's so wide, which is the real problem. First alternate color scheme. It's a bee, I guess. I feel like there's a specific bug, actually, that's supposed to be, that is just escaping my mind at the moment. But there's a lot of insects that use, I forgot the science term, but they copy the black and yellow of bees as a way of camouflage. Well, not warning camouflage to try to make predators think that they're dangerous. And then you just have like alien fly kind of deal. So this is like, ooh, blue and stuff. Maybe maybe they were trying to infer, the movie The Fly with that one. I don't know. And our final character, El Tarantula. This, again, I feel like they just ran out of ideas, and they were like, wait, what's a third character that would be specifically scared of spiders? And they couldn't think of anything, so they just put in a Spanish wrestler whose name is El Tarantula. But, like, why would he name himself after the thing he's scared of? It's so silly. Oh, and I have 0 out of 3 eyes with this guy because I haven't managed the fly at all. I was always trying to make sure I at least got 1 eye on each thing before moving on. So what's El Tarantula's first alternate color? Spider-Man. Like, that was pretty easy to see coming. I think it's very funny that they did this whole like split red-blue thing, presumably to try to avoid being too copyright infringing, but they didn't want to like just have it be blue. Possibly they feared people wouldn't get the reference or something, or they really wanted the reference to be a lot more obvious. And the final is just classic, yes, muerte on the tattoo on his thigh now. It said "Ya Madre" on the first one, so it's it's a Day of the Dead, Spanish holiday reference. I say Spanish holiday. And I'm going to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it straight off the top of my head, I don't know if Day of the Dead is originally from Spain, and that's part of why it's a Mexican thing, or if it's specifically a Mexican holiday. and I'm calling it a Spanish holiday, which might be incorrect. Things to ponder. I could look it up after I'm done recording, but I'm not going to look it up right now. I'll just second guess myself out loud into a microphone. This is why I'll never be a famous YouTuber.